If at any time you can't hear me, just unmute, let me know. I am Brenda Mormon, and I'm with North Central Iowa Ag in the Classroom, and we're out on a farm today with Brent Renner standing right behind me. And in a minute, I'm going to turn my camera around and show you, Brent's going to talk to you a little bit about his operation, what we're doing out here today, and then hopefully we'll have enough time to get in the combine and go for a little ride. I think we have to be done in about 15 minutes, so we're going to try to keep it short today. So I'm going to hand off the microphone to Brent. He'll be able to hear you guys too. If you have any questions, let us know, okay?
Hi, guys. So I know time is short. Can you hear me? They hear me? Okay. I know time is short, so I'm going to do what I can to explain to you what we're going to be looking at, because as we move through the process, it's going to get really noisy and you probably won't be able to hear me talk. But then we'll get to the combine, and then we'll maybe be able to ask some questions in the combine where it's quieter. So we're going to start with wet corn that's coming out of the field at 22% moisture, and it's going out of that semi into that conveyor into this auger. Maybe. So the reason it's going into that conveyor, those flaps come down underneath the truck, and then I can drive over top of it when I bring a different load in from the field. So from there, it's going into this auger and clear up into that cone bottom bin, and that's my wet corn storage bin. From there, so 22% moisture is ideal out of the field, because I'm going to shut this off. All right, so 22% moisture is where we like to be, not above, so that it doesn't, we're going to show you this dryer that it's running through. It needs to be 15.5% moisture when we deliver it to the feed mill, so that we don't get docked, because that's where it needs to be in order to make pig and chicken feed. So what we're doing is trying to take about 4 or 5 points out of this percent moisture out of this corn, so that we can deliver it next year to the feed mill. We walk this way, and here, this might be easier to just walk underneath. So we're going to show you something that I had to improvise, which is what farmers often do. Last year I had an auger, and you can probably see it laying over here in the hedge. One auger fed the corn from the wet bin into the dryer, but that broke last year. Right now, so that wet corn is going up into the dryer, through that dryer. It dries it down to 16% about, and then the green thing with the smokestack behind the dryer is a blower, and that's blowing air underneath the meter where the corn comes out of the dryer and blows it all the way up into that top tall bin. From there, you can also see the fan attached to the bin where the black circle is. I'm cooling that corn, and since it's going into the bin at 17 or 16.5% hot, when we cool it, the moisture will also come out of it another point, so that next year when I auger it out of this auger over there with the orange end on it, it will be 15.5% and it won't get docked.
Where does all your corn go?
Most of our corn goes to the feed mill in Clemmy, so it will get ground into feed for chickens and pigs. So it's going to get really noisy here until we walk over to the combine, and I'm going to probably hold the camera for Brenda while she climbs up into the combine. And my combine operator's name is Richie, he's a pretty cool dude, and he's going to combine and dump corn into the catch wagon as we go through the field and answer any questions that you got. Well, you can see my dad walking away. I've been farming with him for 22 years. This is the home place over here. And we raise about 2/3 corn and 1/3 soybeans on our acres. We farm ourselves about 17 or 1800 acres. And we do a lot of custom work for some friends and neighbors who don't have some of the equipment that we do. And that allows me to also make payments on some really expensive equipment that I normally might not be able to afford. So that's our operation. Sure. So this is the corn head. And the corn plants you will see from the cab when you're riding with Richie go in between these individual snoots. And there are rollers that you can't see underneath those brushes. It pulls the plant down and strips the plant of the ear, and the ear rides on these brushes and paddles up into the auger. So you can see an ear right there. That ear of corn will go to the center of the combine, and then the throat chain takes it into the combine into what we call a rotor. And that rotor spins extremely fast with a cage around it, and the corn goes through that cage and gets shelled off the ear. When the corn is this moisture, it really doesn't take much effort for it to just get shelled right off the ear. And then out the back of the combine comes the cob and any husks and leftover biomass. So Brenda's going to climb up into the combine, and then I'll hand her the camera, but I'll give you a bit of a view of the back of the combine. So all the cobs and leftover stuff that is not corn comes out the back of this combine and gets thrown out onto the field, and that's the end product of the field. All right, I'm going to hand you over to Richie.
All right. This is the microphone.
Hello, you might have to hang on to that.
Yep. Okay. Are you ready? All right. We get.
So I will get us
Here we
going
go.
down the field.
Just thought I'd let you have a look at Richie here for a minute.
All right.
He's going to back up. I'll turn the camera back around so you guys can see what's happening here. He's going to. So this is kind of, so I don't think we told you where we are. We're just east of Clemmy. And do you know how big this field is?
This is about 120 acres.
Okay, so remember we measure fields in acres, and an acre is about the size of a football field. And you can see he's getting lined up here. It's really, really, really dusty out here today.
Very dry.
Yep.
That makes it hard to see. But what makes it easy for me is I push this little button over here, and the combine will drive automatically down the field.
So there's auto steer in
There's
this
auto
combine.
steer, yep. And then I watch my monitor over here. This is my miles per hour. And then up here, it's telling me what my yield is. And right now I have a 206 bushel. We like that. Drier the better.
Brent was telling them how they try to get it down to about 15%. That's why it's going for the dryer right now.
Yeah.
So how long does it take when he puts corn in the dryer? How long does it take?
It all depends. So right now we're doing 22% moisture. This big opening of the field right here that we've taken out, we did that this morning, and right now our bin is full. So we're waiting for the dryer to catch up. So we're going to end up switching fields here.
Okay, and you can watch here. This is Brent's dad, Tom, in the tractor, and he's pulling a grain cart. And in a minute, probably, he's going to get lined up here. And then Richie can just push a button in the combine, and the corn will come out this auger into the grain cart. And then Tom can take it to be unloaded into a semi or the bins or wherever they need it to go. So besides Tom and Brent and yourself, are there other people that help out with harvest on the Renner farm?
Yep, there's probably 4 other guys that step in different times of the week. One guy will switch out with Tom if he's got to go, or with me. So we have kind of a day shift and a night shift. And I don't have a lot of corn in the combine right now, so I'm not going to dump very much on there. We have short rows, so we're not going to go very far. But we wanted to show you guys how this actually works.
So how long do you usually go at night?
And that's going to depend on the weather. If we have a good night where everything's working well, we won't go till we'll go to midnight or 11 o'clock. We'll try to get the bin full at night, and then we'll let the dryer dry that corn all night, and then by morning we can get a good day in, try to put that bin back up and keep the dryer going.
So are they pretty happy with their yields this year? We had a little bit of dry weather for a while there. The yields are pretty good.
Yeah, yields are really good this year, so we're very happy with that.
So Brent said that most of their corn goes to the feed mill to be made to the co-op to be made into feed for livestock. But besides that, farmers can also take this kind of corn to an ethanol plant to be made into a fuel for our cars. I don't think Brent does that though at all, does he?
It depends. Some of it will. Most of it goes to the feed mill. This morning we did see, since we're by this wetland, we did see a nice big, I bet it was a 6-point buck came running through here, and you got to see that. So,
wow.
Yeah, that was neat. We get to see a lot of pheasants, a lot of other animals that are hiding in the field.
I bet.
So we're just gonna head back because we're kind of full right now, so we're not gonna take any more out.
Okay. I don't know if Brent said how close they are to being done. How many?
I bet we are just over halfway done with corn. And so I bet we have another good 3 weeks. If weather is good, we'll have a good 3 weeks and we can take the rest out.
What are some of the concerns when it's this hot and dry?
Fire is a big concern. You got a lot of dust and a lot of buildup within the combine. We always want to make sure just before you guys came here, we blew everything off to get some of that residue off the combine, because if one of these gears gets hot, they can easily spark a fire. And we've already seen fires happen in the neighborhood this year. And that's on a windy day, that's pretty scary. And it can on a windy day, you get corn stalks that start blowing, and then they'll blow into other fields, and you can have a big problem pretty fast. So we want to make sure that we're cleaning off the combine. If it is really windy, we will just stop and wait for the wind to die down on these dry days, because you never know what can happen. Equipment's really expensive, and you don't want to have any problems like that.
So what machinery, maybe you know this, besides the combine and the tractor that Tom is driving in the grain cart. What other machinery? They have a semi or two that Green Farms owns.
Yeah, we got semis that we have, and then we also have some uh, equipment to work around with. Like there's the ripper, fertilizer, buggy is another one, and so yeah, there's every year it depends on what equipment we want to use. If we're going to do a tillage, or if we're going to leave the ground the way it is. Every year is kind of a little different, and every operation is different. Some guys will rip their ground every year, and some guys will do different practices for that. So every operation is different.
Okay, it's 3:15. Do you guys need to get going? How are we doing on time here?
We're probably going to have to kind of get going here. If you have any last few things you want to say or not, then we're probably going to have to leave.
Anything else you want to tell them about farming, or have you farmed your whole life?
I haven't. I started helping renters probably actually 20 years ago. And yeah, I really love farming and love helping them out. And it's a fun thing to do. And there's a lot of different positions that someone can get into, from seed sales to fertilizer to driving semis to working ground. So
There's a lot of careers in agriculture for sure. You guys can kind of get some perspective on how big the combine is. Okay, we will let you guys go. I'll turn the camera around here. Oops. Thank you for letting us come and spend time with you guys today. If you have any questions, any follow-up questions about anything, have your teachers email me and we'll be happy to get those answered for you. And hopefully we can see you guys again next year. Thank you.
thanks, guys.